Kamusta mga ka-SoJTV? You are watching SoJannelle, giving you stories of Filipino immigration and representation. I'm your host, Janelle So, coming to you today from Cerritos, California, here at the famous O-Skin Med Spa. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this place. This is where people come to be beautified, to get beautiful. And so today we have a beautiful conversation with the gorgeous Miss Universe R'Bonney Gabriel. Hello and welcome to SoJannelle.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome to LA. I know this isn't your first time. You've been a lot of times. What's your favorite thing about Los Angeles?
Oh, I love the weather. I love the warm weather since I'm from Texas and that's where I was born and raised. I love anywhere that's nice and hot. And so I'm living in New York now, so it's colder. So coming here is very refreshing and I'm such a beach girl and outdoors girl. So actually if I have a little bit of time tomorrow, I'm hoping to go to the beach for a little bit. And I have a lot of family here as well. So LA, I have so many memories here.
And LA as well is a destination for an event where we were able to highlight your advocacy on human trafficking. Tell us about that experience.
Yes, so I had the incredible opportunity to join together with APAT, and we were able to highlight human trafficking and really just talk more about that topic and raise awareness of it and continue to fight to end human trafficking. So we had a whole panel discussion and even a private dinner, and it was great. I think the second day too, we did some public service announcements and videos to continue to spread the mission and bring awareness to that topic.
All right, let's take a look at that. Here's what kept R'Bonney Gabriel busy during her time in LA.
Well, when I first heard about it, I thought this is truly an honor, and that's what Miss Universe really is all about, being able to spread a very important message or shed light on issues that maybe we don't talk about every day. So this is actually my last event as Miss Universe, so I think it's really the perfect one to end on. So I'm very honored to be standing here today. And we must continue to be that support system for others, continue to fight against human trafficking and domestic violence in the most vulnerable communities. Because I've learned that when we're blessed, our blessings are meant to be shared. We must always be an open ear for someone, and there's days we all need someone, and that's okay. So I stand here today to continue to advocate and fight for human trafficking. Thank you so much for having me here. And may we continue to always realize and remind each other that we are worthy of our personal goals and our personal dreams. For me, I've been so passionate about being a designer, and I've always looked for a way to make it more meaningful and more impactful. And everything kind of just fell perfectly together, and I'm so thankful for that position because I was able to work with so many women in my home city of Houston, teach them sewing classes, but I met women from so many different walks of life. I think as much as the women, I was able to change their lives, they actually changed mine as well.
We feel, I think you guys can also feel it, right? The authenticity, the sincerity of our Miss Universe, R'Bonney Gabriel. Thank you.
What is something that we can do in our daily lives and affect our communities individually when it comes to human trafficking? I think sometimes we think about the issues of human trafficking and we're all pretty familiar with what APAT is doing, but sometimes it feels so big and sometimes it feels like such an issue that it's hard to know what we can do individually in our sort of daily lives. And so using our platforms and all those different things I think are fantastic. But just sort of what are your thoughts? Like, you have an audience here, like, what do you want us to do about human trafficking, right?
Because it is such a global issue, sometimes we think, well, how can we actually make a difference? What can we do to help? And there are so many ways. Something as simple as educating yourself on identifying red flags or somebody that is possibly being human trafficked or forced labor, noticing that they may not be making eye contact or giving responses that seem very robotic even, or questioning if their body language is a little bit off. sometimes being a little bit more conscious when you're interacting with somebody can be a red flag. So you can educate yourself on what those red flags are. And there's hotlines that you can call. We all know using our voice actually has power through social media or having these conversations, but it really just continues to bring this type of topic more relevant if we're talking about it more every day and we're more cognizant of that issue. There's lots of programs like APAT that you can volunteer, like we were talking about, whether that's your time or financially. I learned the most valuable thing that you can volunteer is your time and really just being a support system and lending an open ear. So there's so many things. I think it's just really understanding that you can actually do something in this world that can make a difference, even if it's something that seems so small.
But Miss Gabriel, as it was mentioned, this is your last event, and people have been watching you this entire year and have been rooting for you, and you have been a symbol of our community, especially Filipino Americans. What do you say to, especially the Filipino American community, as you exit this stage, and how are you going to help empower the next generation?
So it's bittersweet. This is, I'm closing this chapter, but I've learned that championing who you are, where you came from, and I've been able to raise my voice so much as a Filipino American, and I've noticed that it opens up so many doors, not only for me, but for the community, and it's allowed others to really connect with me. And I've told young girls, and when I was younger myself, I was never just going around being proud of who I was. I was always so worried what people would think of me. And one message I have to young girls is when you champion who you are and where you came from, it's actually a beautiful thing that opens up so many doors for you. So to never shy away from that. Something I've learned this year is when you do, when you're proud of where you come from and who you are, and you're unapologetically yourself, no matter what that is, it actually just opens a world of opportunities at the end of the day. So I just want to thank the Filipino American community for letting me represent them and being a voice for them. I hope to continue to do that after Miss Universe, and I hope, I think it's a great time to be a Filipino American. It's been a good year. Yeah. So I hope it's only up from here.
Thank you for sharing your time with us here on SoJannelle. Happy Sunday to all of you if you're watching on TFC. Happy Saturday if you're watching on ANC. And happy Monday if you're watching on KNET 25.1. We are also available on demand on iWantTFC, and we are always on our social media platforms. Joining us today is our queen, R'Bonney Gabriel, talking about all things beauty, but at the same time, beauty as power, right? R'Bonney, you have been lending your voice to different causes, but one of those causes has been with you even before pageants, and that is human trafficking, but also really helping where you can. Tell us about that.
Yes, so before I won Miss Universe or Miss USA or even Miss Texas, I was living in my hometown of Houston, and I was working at the nonprofit Magpies and Peacocks, and I was a sewing instructor to the program where we would work with women that have survived from domestic violence and human trafficking, and I would teach them sewing classes. So it was about a 4-week program where these women would come and they would learn a very valuable life skill and then graduate from the program, and maybe they would work within our nonprofit because we're a design house, or they would just learn the tools to succeed to another pathway, whether that was starting their own brand or working in the fashion industry. And for me, I have been such a passionate fashion designer for almost half my life now. So when I found this nonprofit, I thought this was the perfect combination of sharing my love of sewing and also giving back to my city of Houston. Human trafficking is such a big issue there because in the state of Texas, we're a border state. I mean, we just have so many many different people that are suffering from this issue in Houston, being such a big city as well. So I thought this was just a perfect opportunity for me to get more involved.
Right, I love that. Also, human trafficking, you're not just your usual fashion designer because you specialize in sustainability. I love your upcycle designs and all that. But there's really so many issues in the world. Mental health is one, health and wellness is another. I liked during the panel, the roundtable for APAT, where you talked about how you have been lending your voice, but the Miss Universe, the crown, the title, the organization has just given you a bigger microphone.
Definitely. I mean, before I started my pageant journey, I really feel like I didn't have a voice. I was very shy to just really walk into a room and tell people what I'm about, what my passions are, or feel like I could state my opinion. And through this whole journey, I've learned that there's power in your voice and you should never be too afraid to speak up about anything. So when I won Miss Universe, I mean, it was a dream come true, and a lot of people started wanting to hear what I had to say. So it gave me the opportunity to shine a light on many different causes this year.
You did also mention during the evening reception, during that this LA trip, that this is your final stint as reigning Miss Universe. We're going to be talking about that, future plans as well, when we return on the show. Don't go away. Thanksgiving, what are you most thankful for about this journey? If you were to sum up your last year within 3 memorable experiences, what are those?
That is a tough one.